Let's start once again with the demand. So today we are going to start with the movement along the demand curve with the change in quantity demanded. So what are the reasons behind that? Demand curve will be changed, and in which situation and in which circumstance the demand curve will be changed. Let's see one by one. So basically, when quantity demanded of commodity change due to change in its price, price is the major factor in demand. When your price change, price will be changed, then demand will be changed. We have seen that some exceptions are there, but it is not applicable for everything everywhere. So keeping all the factors constant, only price is changed, but the rest of the factors is remain same. It is known as change in quantity demanded. It represented graphically a movement along the same demand curve. See, there can be either a downward movement, either upward movement. So along the same demand curve, let us understand the movement along the demand curve with the help of figure 3.1. Let me show this diagram. In which situation your demand curve will go to the upward side. See, when price rises OP2, where is price rises? See, here is having O axis, here is having X axis, and here is having Y axis, right? So this axis, X axis indicates quantity, and Y axis indicates price of the product, right? Suppose in this situation, when price rises to OP2, here is OP2, right? Suppose example, your price was having O2P, normal price, and your demand was O2Q. This is the simple example. But in other situation, when your price fall down from OP to OP1, OP to OP1, price fall down from OP to OP1. So in this situation, your demand is increasing. Got it?
Yeah.
But in the other situation, when your price rises from OP, it's your normal price, OP to OP2, to OP2, to OP2, OP2, right? So your demand will be decreased. Demand will decrease from O2Q to OQ2, right? It means when your price fall down, your demand is increasing, quantity demand increasing, and when your price increased, demand is decreased. Right? Now, the expansion of demand is shown in the downward movement from A to B. A to B. Where is A to B? Now, A to B. Here is expansion of demand. It goes to the downward movement side. Am I right? Right? Quantity demanded rises. Quantity demanded rises from O to Q to OQ1 to OQ1. Your quantity is demanded due to reason of price of the commodities fall down. Right? In the contraction in demand, what is the meaning of contraction in demand? When it is shown by the upward movement from A to C, A to C, A to C. It goes to the upward side, contraction demand, because of the reason, right? Quantity demanded falls from O to Q to OQ2. Right? In this situation, price rises, and in this situation, price fall down. Your P is neutral price. Your P is neutral price, right? So now we can explain in the theoretical format. Leading to upward movement from A to C, change the same demand curve DD. So this is the called as DD, change in the demand, change in the quantity, right? So on the other hand, fall in the price from OP to OP1 leads to an increase in quantity demanded from OQ to OQ1, resulting in a downward movement. It resulting in a downward movement, right? So A to B along the same demand curve. A to B will be the remain same demand curve. So due to the reason in prices, so it will be change in the quantity, that is called as movement along the demand curve with the help of quantity demanded. What is most important thing in that economics is you have to keep in mind, you have to remember only diagrams. Once you remember that diagram, after that you can write down anything on the diagram, right? See, change in quantity demanded occurs due to change in price, and it leads to movement along the demand curve. Why? What will be happen in this situation? Either your demand curve will be goes to the downward movement side, either the demand curve will be goes to the upward side movement. It is known as when your demand curve it goes downward side, it is called as expansion in demand due to decreasing price. Due to increasing price. So when your demand it goes to the upward side, it is called as contraction in demand. It is called as contraction in demand. What is suppose in short sometimes MCQ will be asked what is the meaning of contraction of demand or expansion of demand? So your answer will be this: due to decrease in price, demand curve it moves to the downward movement side, at the downward side. It is called as expansion in demand. When due to change in the price, demand will be increased and it goes demand curve upward movement side. That is called as contraction in demand. That is called as contraction in demand. What it? No. So I hope you understood expansion in demand.
Yeah.
Right? In which situation it is called as expansion? When your demand curve goes downward side. Right? Now you can see here briefly. In this situation, expansion demand, you can see expansion in demand refers to rise in quantity demanded due to fall in the price. Due to fall in the price of commodity. But at that same time, you need to remember other factor will be remain constant. They will not be changed. Only price factor will be changed. So due to that reason, your demand curve will be go to the downward side. So it leads to downward movement along the same demand curve. It is also known as extension in demand, either increase in quantity demanded. Increase in quantity demanded. Right? So again, we can understand with the help of diagram. In this situation, when price of commodity was 20, you buy 100 units. When price fall down from 20 to 15, you bought 150 units. Got it?
Yeah.
Now again, see, here is again O axis, here is X axis, and here is Y axis, right? When price was 20, so this axis, it means OX axis indicate what
Demand.
quantity demand,
Yeah.
and O2 Y axis price indicates,
Price.
right? When price was 20, when your price was 20, right? So demand was 100. Demand was 100, right? But when price fall down 15, your demand is increased. It means your demand curves, it goes to the downward side. It is called as DD. It moves to the downward side. That is why it is called as expansion in demand. That is called as expansion in demand. So we can elaborate entire diagram in the theoretical form. As seen in the given schedule and diagram, the quantity demanded rises from 100 units to 150 units with a fall in the price from 20 to 15. In which situation demand is increased when price was fall down by rupees, by rupees 5 rupees from 20 to 15. So that is why 50 units increased. 50 units increased, right? So resulting in downward movement from A to B along the same demand curve. That is called as expansion in demand. Got it? Hello, got it?
Yeah.
Then again, contraction. It's a totally vice versa. Contraction in demand refers to fall in the quantity demanded due to rise in the price of the commodity. But again, other factors will remain constant, right? Now it leads to an upward movement along with the same demand curve. It is also known as decrease in quantity demanded. Right? Now let's see again with the help of diagram. So when price again, we can write down, it indicates O axis, X axis, Y axis. O to X axis indicates quantity demanded. O to Y axis indicates price. So now when price was 20, your demand was 100. It means your demand is having up to this. Right? When price increased by 5, it means 20 to 25. When your price increased by 5, that is 25, your demand will 70.
Decrease.
It means decreased. So it means what? Your demand curve goes to the upward side. And that is called as contraction in demand. When it is called as contraction in demand, then moment of demand curve, it goes to the upward side due to the reason of changes in the price of the commodity but at the same time, other factors will be remain constant. That is called as contraction in demand. Got it?
Yeah.
Again, shift in demand curve, change in demand. Now, demand curve is drawn to show relationship between price and quantity. When you talk about the demand, always keep in mind forever price and quantity. Demanded of commodity, assuming all the factors being constant, however, other factors are bound to change sooner or later. This is the most important point, भैया इसमें ये चीज याद रखना है. Demand curve is shifting, demand curve is changing, right? But at the same time, other factor was constant, right? But they are feeling that something will be changed very soon or some later. So a change in one of other factor shift the demand curve. When other factor is changed, then automatic demand curve will be changed. Suppose income of consumer increase. Now the consumer may increase the demand for product. Other factor change. Other factor is change. Which factor? Consumer income factor is changed. And everything was constant. Nothing is changed. Only other factor, other factor is changed only in this situation. Now the consumer made the demand for the product even though the price has not changed. Such an increase in demand for any product whose price has not changed cannot be represented by the original demand curve. It will shift the demand curve because when his income level is increased, demand of the same product will be increased. Right? Let's see with the example. Now, when the demand of commodity changes due to change in any factor other than own price, price was not changed, price was constant, but any other factor was changed only of the commodity. It is known as change in demand. Right? Now, in which situation demand will be changed? Price, price of that product was remain same, but in which situation demand will be increased or decrease? First one point is that change in price of substitute goods. Right? If tea price increases, automatically coffee demand will be increases. Change in price of complementary goods. Same thing you can say. What are the complementary goods?
Sugar and tea.
Right.
Car and fuel.
Change in income of consumer. If promotion is not given by the boss, they will consume only 1 unit. When promotion is given by the boss, then they will consume more units. That is 2 units. Change in taste and preferences. Right? Expectation of change in the price in future. You can take a simple example of gold ornaments nowadays. People, they are feeling like that, in near future prices will be increase of gold. Change in population. This is also important factor which will affecting on the demand. Change in distribution of income. And then change in season and weather. You can see examples of winter and summer, rain. In winter season, sweaters, jackets, mufflers, right? It will, their sale will be increased. Right? In the rainy season, umbrella, raincoat, again jackets, their demand will be increases. Right?
What do they mean by change in distribution of income?
Change in distribution of income, it means what? Suppose if your salary rupees 10, 20,000, right? And suppose if you are buying in the earlier scenario, uh, 1 kg apple every day,
Hmm.
right? From your out of income, but nowadays your income is increased, right? So what we'll do?
Yeah.
1 kg apple will buy, another 1 kg pomegranate will buy. Your income will be distributed in different commodities,
Okay.
right? Then again, we can understand with the example. See, here is example. Again, as usual, here is O-axis, here is X-axis, here is Y-axis. When price was this O to P, your demand was O to Q1. Sorry, O to Q, right? When when your price was increased, it is shown by the rightward upshift in the demand curve from DD to DD, DD to DD1. Right? Demand rises from OQ to OQ1 due to favorable changes in other factors at the same price, right? But decrease in demand. Here is increasing demand, here is decreasing demand. It is shown by leftward shift in the demand curve from DD to DD2, DD, DD to DD2, right?
Hmm.
Demand falls from OQ to OQ2, right?
Yeah.
Due to unfavorable change in other factors at the same price, or in the other factors at the same price. So that is called as decrease in demand. Got it?
Yeah.
So this is called as shift in demand curve. That is called as shift in demand curve. So now let's see understand with the help of diagram. Here is change in demand curve. Change in demand curve. Occurs due to change in factor other than price. It leads to shift in demand curve. So it is called as either your demand curve will change. It will be shift either rightward side, either leftward side.
Okay.
If your demand curve is shifting to the rightward side, it is known as increase in demand. When it goes to the leftward side, it is called as decrease in demand. It will be asked in the MCQ most of the time. Right? I hope you understood up to this properly.
Yeah.
Is there any doubt up to this?
Hmm.
Pakka?
Huh.
Okay, no problem. Let's start with the new point again. Increase in demand. Again, increase in demand refers to rise in demand of commodity caused due to any other factor or than own price of the commodity. In case demand rises at the same price or demand remains same, even at a higher price. Let's see understand how. Here is O-axis, here is X-axis, here is Y-axis. When price was 20, your demand was 100, right? When your price
Yeah.
20, again your demand is 150. No, price was remained same, but due to reason of affecting of other factors, the demand is increased. Suppose example, research revealed that people who regularly eat green vegetables live longer. This will raise the demand for green vegetables even at the same price.
Mm.
And it will be shift the demand for vegetables towards right side. It means from DD to DD1. Got it?
Yeah.
चलो आई होप आज के लिए शायद इतना ही काफी रहेगा. जस्ट मिनट.
Thank you, sir.
ओके चलो बाय.
Bye.